Driving, typing and texting. So much of our life requires good eyes. Yet many of us don't get routine checkups like we do the dentist and GP. Māori eye health experts want to change that as they raise the profile on eye conditions affecting te iwi Māori. Mea nei te purongo, a Miriana Johnson.
My first thought was, oh, that's scary.
A pervasive health condition.
How are you surviving? Your vision is terrible.
Caught too late.
If I can avoid that for any patient, that is what I'm advocating.
Arapeta Paea has been performing since he was 5 years old and is now on stage with Te Matatini stars Te Piki Kōtuku o Ngāti Rongomai.
When it comes to haka, you've got to have all of your senses working at 100%. You've got to be sharp. Growing up, I had eagle-eye vision. I think I was around 17 or 18, I went to go and do my restricted driver's licence test. Absolutely passed with flying colours in terms of the driving part. It was just the eye test where I failed. That was the first inkling I had that something was up with my eyes, but I kind of put it on the back burner.
Years later, he finally went to see a specialist who revealed he had a degenerative eye condition.
That was a bit of a shock to me, being told that my eyes are terrible, probably can't or shouldn't be driving, and we've got to do something now before it gets too late. After the first 3 weeks of shock and denial, I was trying to figure out how I'd be able to cope with my lifestyle. Then I actually started practicing playing my guitar with my eyes closed. Worst case scenario, I can be the Māori version of Stevie Wonder on a guitar.
Arapeta had keratoconus, and because he had left it so long, that meant he needed a corneal transplant at just 23.
You have to be awake for a corneal transplant because they need your eye to be focused forward. It is a very overwhelming surgery to have done. It's a donor cornea. You're getting a body part from someone else. There is no whakaaro Māori around that process. So looking straight ahead.
Renata Watene is one of Aotearoa's few Māori optometrists.
Now 3 little puffs of air onto each eye. So I do have a lot more clientele coming through to see me that are Māori. Optic nerves are good and healthy because they've had experiences within the system and they've thought, well, maybe she can help me because she understands where I'm coming from a Māori perspective.
As a young kōrero from Northland, Renata Watene found her path early on.
I went to a school careers day. One of the parents in the class was an optometrist, and I went home and told my mum I was going to be an optometrist, and I never really changed my mind after that. But interestingly enough, I'm named after Renata Kawipo, who is a one-eyed Māori chief from Kahununu. Mum was hapu with me and went to the Te Ao Māori exhibition, and Renata Kawipo was one of the paintings that was there. And she immediately gravitated towards it and was adamant I was going to be a boy, and then said, yep, that's going to be the name of my boy, Renata. And so when I was born and I wasn't a boy, she said, that's okay, you're still going to be called Renata.
It was in 1869, following the Battle of Te Porere Pā, that Kawipo lost his eye after he murdered the chief Podini, his young widow, and her grief and rage gouged out his eye. But instead of enacting revenge on her, he decided to marry her.
I don't know, maybe my pathway was preordained for me to go into optometry.
20 years of hard work to becoming an award-winning optometrist with 2 practices across Auckland.
I specifically want to apply a Māori worldview or a Māori lens to our health systems so that we can start to see equitable outcomes for Māori.
Basically, Māori have particularly poor ocular health.
Micah Rapata is also fighting to stamp out Māori eye health disparities.
When you go through medical school, you kind of get used to that Māori have worse health outcomes in a wide variety of specialities.
Micah has just published the first ever comprehensive review into Māori eye health. It highlights significant disparities between Māori and non-Māori, but also exposes gaps in knowledge.
We're sort of a bit blind to knowing actually how big the problem is.
There's never been a national eye health survey in Aotearoa, but what information is available paints a pretty bleak picture. Across a number of eye conditions, Māori fare worse, like cataracts. This is how it affects people's sight. We're 2 times more likely to get them, and at a much younger age. Then there's diabetic retinopathy, which looks like this. Yes, diabetes affects your eyesight, and Māori are more likely to have it.
They can't drive themselves to work. They can't drive themselves to the grocery store to get kai. They can't drive themselves to go see their whānau. It's a real limitation on their quality of life. It's heartbreaking to see whānau who could have been treated had they come earlier, but now are too far down the track. You've got to tell them that their vision is basically shot.
Arapeta was lucky to receive a donated cornea, so surgery could be done to restore his sight.
I would encourage whānau to give some good thought to donating organs, and especially the cornea. You know, sight is an amazing thing, and to be able to give that back to a whānau member, you know, you can't really put a price on that.
I also think about the fact that for Māori and Pasifika whānau, we're the ones that need these types of donations the most, but we're not the whānau that are donating.
Tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe matua.
How much of a difference did it make for you having a Māori doctor?
A world of difference. And actually getting into the room, seeing Micah, I think the first words he said to me were tēnā koe, and I was like, ooh, hold on, this is a bit different. So I put my mind, my body, my soul at ease, and ultimately I think after I finished karaki, it was like, well, it's over to you fellas now.
Arapeta is now sharp as ever, back with his kapa ngā uri o Rongomai.
Obviously, it's still a work in progress in terms of getting my eyesight back to 100%, but it's absolutely improved my quality of life.
There's really low-hanging fruit that we can make huge, huge impact. Early screening, early diagnosis.
To make that happen, Renata is lobbying for free eye checks and screening in secondary schools.
I love my job and I love helping people and I love seeing our Māori patients, but me being the only clinician that they feel comfortable with, it's not the solution. I actually preferred those ones out of the ones that you tried, so it's giving you a good definition around your jawline. I specifically want to make change for Māori to get equitable outcomes for Māori and to do that by any means possible.